Hi, this is Mark, and I am in sunny Redwood City. I'm actually in front of this gift shop, and they're starting to set up umbrellas on the square area. And I thought I'll just be off here and be a little less noisy. And there's this little monkey swinging from a little tree. That's one of these like solar um, powered toys, and it's just sort of swinging from a palm tree. I liked it. This is the reading from the Golden Present Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And this is for October 25th. And the topic is, you must do all that you can to attract that person. If you want God, what should you do? Simply sit and cry? No, you should serve Him. If you really want to attract somebody, if you want to get somebody's love, you must serve that person. You must do all that you can to attract that person so he or she will love you. You give everything, even your life, to that person. It's also like that with God. God is here in the form of humanity, in the form of nature. So you say, I am ready to give anything and everything in the name of God. Serve, serve, serve. That doesn't mean you just simply go, sit in a corner and cry. Serving God is loving God. By serving and loving, you get His grace. You make Him love you. The devotee is not a useless person simply sitting and crying. He serves everybody, everything in the name of God. Serving and loving are the ways to attain God. What is God? Who is that? Peace of mind is God. So you are ready to renounce anything and everything to retain your peace, and that is God. You can never maintain that peace if you are running after things, if you are looking for that peace outside. God is in you in the form of peace and joy. Again, that idea of God being this channel of energy that is within and moves through and beyond all of us. So it's not this one unattainable, far away, totally different than we are type of entity. It's this aspect of our own nature, that peace, the joy that's within that's being talked about. And it's interesting, he's saying you got to do everything you can to attract the person, to get them to get their attention, basically. And you do that by serving them so that he or she will love you. Kind of interesting to hear that. It sounds like it could be the makings of a codependent relationship, but in knowing that this is to be directed towards the person who has a spiritual practice, they're seeking balance in all of this. So it's not someone who's obsessively and destructively doing this, caring and sharing their love, and not taking care of themselves, but they're doing this in a way that is honoring themselves because they know that God is the peace within themselves. All of this that's existing is a manifestation of our own dream. So if we think of it that way, we're never able to suffer. Now it's interesting, he focuses a few times he says it's not crying that's going to do you any good, or what did he say? A devotee is not a useless person simply sitting and crying. It sounded a little harsh to me because sometimes, tears can come out as a way of sort of letting emotions burst out because of this intensity of the connection with this God or your sense of higher power. Whatever this devotion is, it can be so strong and powerful that it can burst out in all kinds of different emotions. I think what he's referring to here, again, thinking about it as a spiritual person on a spiritual path, is that allowing yourself to only be in that state where there's this purging of intensity, that can start to just loop and not create a kind of constructive moving forward. We can start to kind of loop in on story that may not really be the most updated story, because there's just a tendency in our minds for that to happen. So he's saying here, you want to serve. Sometimes doing that action gets you out of that wallowing state, that if it's the crying of that sort. I've had moments where I've burst into tears more out of like this feeling of my heart opening so big and realizing the beauty of life. And I think, but I think he said something about, well, he didn't really critique it in that way, but yeah, I just felt like I wanted to point that out. It's like nothing wrong with crying, but not to wallow in it. Let it have its time. Give yourself that space. I think with all the emotions, sometimes we feel like we don't have enough space. We don't give ourselves enough space to let an emotion move through, because it will pass. This too shall pass. Joy even will pass if it's continually something that's triggered by outside resources. But what he's reminding us is that peace and joy being within, that's what we're trying to do. Not even thinking about if it's God or another person, but what are our behaviors in the world that help us connect with that peace and joy within ourselves, and that we do whatever we can to maintain that connection and maintain that relationship, feed it in a very healthy way. And if we see it as an outside manifestation, as a God or even as a loved one, just remember that it's actually pointing towards that peaceful nature that we establish within ourselves first. I think that's what he's trying to get at in this kind of a reading. You can never maintain that peace if you're running after things, if you're looking for that peace outside. So you don't want to turn somebody into your God, or somebody's responsible for your peace and happiness. If you do that, it's eventually going to fail. And that's more of the codependent relationship model. But in that healthy relationship model, you recognize that serving others and giving and loving and caring for others, it's an extension of your own self-care and self-love. And that takes practice. That takes some effort to really understand. But that's a lot of what these teachings are about. So I'm going to just leave it there. And just take another moment here in the sun and appreciate that. It's just like these little toys, they receive the sun and that animates them. It helps them come to life. I kind of feel the same thing. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And though I can't see very well, I feel good. See you tomorrow.